Okay, good morning. I am distressing this pink piece with Dixie Dirt and clear wax. That seems to be the most common thing that people have trouble with. It's distressing. This is an easy way that you use very little wax. But anyway, so I had a few minutes this morning, so I thought I would turn the live on and let you all watch. If you have questions as I go, please feel free to ask. The clear, you won't use much of it. So I did this drawer and this drawer and this top area. We'll go on and do this drawer next. I'm going to start here in the center. So I just use an old chip brush and I cut the bristles down. It's something that I do frequently for the wax, and it doesn't take much. And I'm working out of the can because there's not much left. I usually scoop it out into something else like I have with the Dixie Dirt. But anyway, so you'll just, this has indentions around through there, so I'm kind of letting that be my guide. But you'll want to just take a little bit around through there. And then the Dixie Dirt is a powder, so I will kind of dab my brush and then knock it off. And less is more, and it is buildable, so you can kind of add more as you go. I tend to put a little bit more towards the bottom just because it's where your shadow would be. And I know it looks funny right now, but we'll blend it in. And if you get too much, then you just add a little more clear wax onto it. But that kind of softens the edges. And it makes it look more natural. Distressing can be tricky. I sent out a survey yesterday for the new e-course we have coming up, and one lady responded and said that her painted furniture just looks like painted furniture. She wants more of a natural aged look, so it's something that we'll focus on. But I'll show you this Dixie Dirt trick. You can see the difference already between that one and this one. This color is tea rose. But I don't want it super distressed. I just want it to look naturally aged. This pink color has turned out to be a really popular color. It's great for nurseries, of course. But then it just a little bit of a feminine touch, and I love it aged out like this. It just reminds me of something that would be wasting away in like a French chateau somewhere. I know that sounds dramatic, but it really is a pretty color. It's a little darker right there than what I wanted, so I took the clear and just lightly ran it over it. is to make it look natural. I'm gonna blend that in there. Meant to get on earlier while I was drinking my coffee and ended up on the phone with a girlfriend, which is usually our time to chat in the mornings anyway, just before the day gets started. So I'm a little later coming on than what I had originally planned, but as hot as it is right now already, I'm sure most people are trying to either go to the pool today or relax, unless you're one of the unlucky ones like me and you have to work. I'm working on doors right now for my most recent kitchen. I posted a picture of it the other day. It is a Mercer County native that now lives in Lexington, and it's a tiny, I shouldn't say tiny, it is a petite kitchen, and she is working with a home stylist, and they have decided to go with a two-tone kitchen. So we've got blue on the top, smoky blue by Sherwin-Williams on the bottom, and light French gray on the top. And you can see this one I did earlier, and it has already started to dry, so this one looks a little darker than that one, but as this dries it will blend out. And I mean, you can really tell a difference between this drawer and that drawer, but it does give it a more aged look. We're just going to keep going. If y'all have questions as we go, feel free to ask. And this drawer you can still see. I will move the camera for that bottom drawer. So this one I'm going to do this section, and then this section, and then come in here and do a little bit. But again, this is clear wax with Dixie Dirt. I'm not going to do this edge. Hopefully this we can get to blend together. Actually, let me see. Oh yeah, you all can see that bottom. I can't see it because of the comments and who's watching. But we're going to go ahead and do this whole section so that it looks like it's done together. And this stuff is very forgiving. If you get too much, just add a little clear to it. This is the Dixie Dirt is in charcoal. They make it in a couple of different options. I know one is ash, charcoal, and excuse me, I can't remember the other color right now. Sorry guys, I can get a drink of water. This dirt, the Dixie Dirt, does kind of fall off, sprinkle down below. It's like powder is the consistency. So if you're doing this in the house, be sure to put something down, especially if you're doing it on carpet. Got some out here that I really didn't want out that far. Just go back, kind of blend that in. And then this top edge, it got a little messy, so I'm just going to put some on my rag. If you put clear wax down first, it acts as your kind of as a barrier, so it will help if you do make a mistake. You can pull that out of there and just blend until you get it the way that you want it. Sherry, so Sherry said she wants to paint furniture, but she doesn't feel like she knows enough about which paint or glaze or technique to use. So feel free to message me anytime. I answer Facebook messages as quickly as possible. Michelle helps during open store hours. The easiest way, really, until you get a knack for it and know kind of what you want to do, is find an inspiration picture. There's usually more than one way to achieve a certain finish, but don't start with complex stuff like this. Start out with a basic color and distressing with sandpaper or whatever, and then kind of work your way up to it. We're going to be launching our e-course really soon, and I will in that we do the basics of furniture painting, and then let's make sure you all can see, and then I do go into glazing in that video, and then there will be other so in that e-course there's also going to be a Facebook group where you all will be members of, and I will do live videos in there with different techniques once a week. So you're buying the course that you download, and you will watch as many times as you want, and then you're also included in that is this Facebook community that will there'll be other people in there. There will be professional furniture painters in there. There will be somebody who's only going to paint one piece their entire life. So all different types of and skill levels in there. But the best thing you can do is start out simple and experiment. I always tell people, if you've never painted anything, go to Goodwill, buy a $5 table. Go to Walmart if you want a new table. They have cheap particle board $20 tables there. No, it's not a piece that will last forever, but it's better than, and I don't want to say ruin, because paint can always be removed, but it's better than putting time, effort, and tons of paint into grandma's antique table, and then it's not turned out the way you want, and you've got to go back and strip it or whatever. And that's the other thing I tell people. Paint is not permanent. It can always come off. Just like if you stain something and you didn't like the color, you can always take it off. It's some work to do it, but it can come off. And each side doesn't have to be exact, but I want it to, you don't want one side extremely worn and the other one not at all. This area is just wax because I got a little bit of the Dixie Dirt where it shouldn't have been. So we'll see how that blends out. But you can already see that it is starting to take on more of an aged look. And I should have snapped a picture of this before I got started. Okay, so now we did both of those drawers at once. What I want to do is just create a shadow around this, and then we'll do the shadow around this, and then we'll see how it goes. I don't always know exactly what I'm going to do. This piece, I actually had Michelle paint the base color of pink, and then I started going in and doing some metallic of the rose gold, which is called Rosé, and I did not like the way that it looked. There's nothing wrong with the Rosé, but on this dresser it just wasn't the look that I wanted. So I had Michelle paint over that area, and then I decided, and actually what I did is I did some Googling and some Instagram tag searching and found a piece that was similar, that had this really softness to it. That's what I like about the pink, is you can make the distressing look really soft and not harsh. Especially with the Dixie Dirt. So I decided this morning that I would do the Dixie Dirt on this. It's a product that I really like. I've done a couple different lives with it, but everybody says they have trouble with colored wax, and I can see why. It is not an easy product to use. So this is an alternative. And the great thing about Dixie Belle waxes is they are water-based. So we can put a clear coat over this for extra protection, which I always wait 24 hours to do so that everything has cured out. But you're just going to lightly rub. This dresser is for the shop. It's not a custom piece for somebody, so I do have a little bit more freedom in what I do with it. And the other cool thing I'll show you all in just a second that we did with the sides of these drawers, the sides weren't very pretty, so I decided to do something a little bit fun. So the sides of the drawers all look like that. And then I haven't decided about hardware on this. It's got some pretty gold or brass knobs that I could clean up and put back on it. However, I almost think glass knobs would be pretty. So I haven't quite decided on that yet. If you all have an opinion one way or the other, let me know. But I feel like the glass knobs would add a little more of a feminine touch to it. I'm going to add just a little bit more here at the bottom and take some off right there. So I added a little bit of clear wax. I'm just going to rub that off, and then I put a little bit more at the bottom. Just to create more of a shadow. Now, I'm going to turn this just a hair, because I'm going to do this edge same way I did on the rest of it. I am going to pay attention though to this groove and this outer groove. So I'll actually take my wax and run it up and down here. And I'm not putting much on my brush. You don't need much. And if a little bit gets in the center, it's not a big deal. Adds a little touch to same over here. if you're working in the house, be sure to put something down. I just dropped my bowl of Dixie Dirt. I'm in the back part of Rosewood on a concrete floor that has seen better days, so we'll sweep it up later on. And then we got those edges. I did get a little more on that outside edge than what I wanted. Now, I really think that it needs, don't pay attention to my fuzzy hair, it needs a little bit in these grooves, and then I'll get the bottom as well. I'm going to have to adjust the camera a little bit differently though. And then for the Dixie Dirt, you know, I always pour things out of their original container. This, I just shake it and open it up and take what's on the lid. I hope you all can see this. And just tap it into there. That way I'm not scooping out a ton of it. And that really does go a long way. All right. All right, I am going to lower the camera just a little, so you all bear with me for just a second. It might get a little bit shaky. Just so you can see the bottom. I think that will work. This concrete floor always hurts my ankles when I sit on it. So I have this old rag rug, whatever it's called, that I'll use to sit on. All right. So we've got, where's my towel? So we've got this area. I think I'm gonna put a little bit there and just see kind of what it looks like. If you've got a really fine area that you want to get to, a Q-tip works really well too. I don't have one handy, so I'm just gonna use the brush. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go on and wipe off the wax on the outside. That way it doesn't pick it up. And then dab my Dixie Dirt in the center. And I may not even end up liking that. I don't know, we'll see. It'll be okay. All right, so a little bit in the center. Wipe off the outside. Actually, for these areas, I am going to grab a Q-tip. Give me just a second. Sorry. All right, so just like the brush, roll it around. You could almost make like a little point with your Q-tip. I'm just gonna go right in there. I'm going to wipe off around the outside edge, just so the dirt doesn't stay in there as well. And with this wax, you don't want to use much. I had somebody come in the other day and they said their wax wasn't drying. It still felt tacky days later. And they had painted a small, it looked more like an oversized nightstand to me, but she called it a chest. Fine. She used an entire container like this. I've had this container for months. It really doesn't take much. So less is more. And be sure if you're just waxing the piece that you really buff it as you go. Oh, thanks, Heather. It really doesn't take a lot to add a wow factor to your pieces. Like I said before, I was talking to Sherry. She commented about not knowing what to do. Experiment. Ask questions. The e-course that we'll be launching soon is going to be a great resource for, you know, all skill levels. Whether you want to be a professional furniture painter or you just want a hobby, or if you want to be in between. There are some people locally that have turned their hobby into a business. And I say that, but I'm one of those people too. I used to love, and I still love to paint furniture, don't get me wrong. But it is a little different when it is your full-time job. But this is the kind of stuff that I love. I love getting to do, I appreciate my custom work. But it is so much fun to start out with a piece and not really know where it's going to go. Just kind of take it as you go. All right, let's see. I'm going to turn this just a hair. can start over here. I'm going to do the feet last, or the last for the front. I'm just going to go through and do some of these grooves. That end of my Q-tip is starting to wear out, but I don't want to waste the wax that is on there. And I'm just to switch back to the brush for the center area, because I'm going to do it just a little bit heavier there. Thanks, Steve, Tammy. Let's see. No one chimed in, so brass original knobs, and I'll show you all those here in a second, or should I go with glass? This piece will be in the shop probably Saturday for purchase if you're interested. Let me know. But I still haven't decided on knobs. I kind of like the idea of the original brass and put a little bit of burnished brass, maybe gilding wax on them, or I don't know. Haven't decided for sure. I just love the look of glass knobs on feminine furniture. I don't know why, but I really like that look. Like that center piece was just a little bit heavy, so I just dabbed my talent there just a bit. And I mean, that's a huge difference. You think so? Laura, yes, it's available. It will be $2.99, I believe, when it's finished. When we get off the live, I will message you with the dimensions. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And Heather, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. I tell people all the time, like, there is so much you can do to support a small business besides just making a purchase. Sharing, liking on Facebook, and just telling your friends. Word of mouth is huge. But Laura, when I finish up, I will get dimensions and let you know. And then the I don't know if you've been on the whole time, but the drawers are decoupaged on the side too with a pale pink. It's actually gift wrap paper is what I most commonly use. I'll use scrapbook paper, but I like gift wrap so much better. And I actually apply it with clear coat, and it tends to just absorb into the clear coat and become so tough. I do it with a satin clear, and then my last coat over it is a little coat of gator hide, which is the super protective water repellent clear coat made by Dixie Belle. All right, so we're gonna do this leg. I'm really not sure on this leg exactly where I want the dirt to pick up. I do know that I want it a little bit darker. So I'm actually doing the wax over the whole thing. And that gives me a little bit of freedom because I can put it on and then just wipe off where I don't want it. But if this was naturally aging somewhere, the bottom is going to be darker and, for lack of a better word, dirtier than the rest of the piece. So you just want it to keep that soft, feminine, almost kind of a whimsical look to it. All right, I'm going to turn you guys just a little bit. Lindsay, I am using clear wax. And then the Dixie Belle Dirt. And then tomorrow, after this cures for 24 hours, I will actually top coat with gator hide. Just for extra durability. All right, I'm going to turn you guys just a hair so you can see that leg. Everybody see this leg okay? I think so. It's towards the bottom of the screen, but if you can't see it, please let me know. And I will readjust. But this tea rose, which is the color that I'm using, is one of it's my favorite pink that Dixie Belle has. It's just the perfect color of blush pink. It's got just a touch of pink. I mean, it is pink, but it's not bubblegum pink. It's blush pink. I mean, it's just a perfect, soft pink. But adding some dimension to it and some age will really help. There's a couple furniture painters that I watch on Facebook and then our Dixie Belle website, and there's a lot of whimsical stuff that's out right now, and I love the look, but I'm not sure that, in this area it will go well. Yes, I ship furniture as well, but for the most part, 80%, probably 85% of our sales are local. But anyway, you can see a huge difference. And then I will do just a touch on the sides. Let me see if I can turn this. You all are still here and watching. Might as well continue. Let's see if I can turn this so you can get to it. Or actually, we'll do the top section. All right, I'm going to move the camera again. I apologize. But we'll do the area up top. Sorry, I know I'm shaking you all. There we go. Now you can see. If I can get you straightened back out. Perfect. All right, so. I've got this thing on dollies, but this floor is not perfectly flat. For those of you who don't know or aren't from the Harrodsburg area, the building I'm in used to be a laundromat. So the floor has seen better days. I'm sure there has been some flooding and different things occur through here over time. so again, we're going to well, there it is. So I need a little bit more Dixie Dirt. And wax with the Q-tips. So I'm just going right in these grooves. And the top, I'm not going to even do as much as I did at the bottom. Just a light coat over the grooves and in the crevices. Wiping off the excess that's on the outside. I'm just going to work it into the grooves. So where the wax is, the Dixie Dirt will stick. I feel like I got it too heavy in some of these areas, so I'm going to go back with my clear wax and just rub it across in some points. And then take my cloth. And this thing is starting to get soiled too. But you can see that it will come back off. There, that's much better. I don't want a lot, I just want it to soften it. Alright, we'll do these other spots and then oh, and the sides, I'll show you all what I'm going to do on this. Let me show you that real quick, and that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, and you won't be able to see it all the way down, but I can show you. The only place I'm putting it here is in this groove in the corner. And I know that you all can't see all the way down, but I want to do it all in one motion. And actually what I'm going to do is wipe off what's on this edge there. And run my dirt down. And then blend. So I'm wiping it off the edge. And I'm going to wipe off more towards the center. So I'm just wiping a little bit harder. And then I'm going to go back and just kind of smooth it. smooth it in and blend so that it has a more natural look. And I know right now it doesn't look very natural because it's wet with the wax, but it will dry out and look much better. And there really is no right or wrong way, especially with distressing. You just work with it until you get it the way that you want it. And I got a little bit heavy right there. And then as that dries, it will look a lot more natural. Hi Kelly, hi Jennifer. Alright, so we're continuing with Dixie Dirt and clear wax for distressing. We're almost done. And I'm actually going to switch up my towel. That one was starting to be a little bit soiled, so it wasn't taking off as much. It's got the Dixie Dirt in it. Alright, do this last area up here at the top, and then I am signing off for the day and getting back to work. Too many things in my hand at one time. And it's a little darker than what I wanted. So I'm just taking the clear back over it. Just kind of reconstituting that area. And then wiping it back off. Alright guys, that's it for today. I will see you all very, very soon. Thanks, Jennifer. You all have a lovely day and stay cool.